The Morgan Report with David Morgan. Discover how to build and protect your wealth at themorganreport.com.
David Morgan of themorganreport.com with the weekly perspective for the week ending 15 May 2026. Well, this week a little different. I usually don't show the camera. It's just more efficient. Most people have seen me if they follow my work, and there's that. It's a book here that I think you can all see, written by I'll call her famous, Judy Shelton. Had the honor of interviewing her after her gold book came out. She was gracious enough. But this goes back to several years ago. I'll have to look it up again. I think it's 2010. Yes, it's 2010. And as you saw the cover, it's just a booklet, a guide to sound money. But I thought I would go over that because these are the basic fundamentals. And like in football or basketball or baseball or any scholar really, any field of endeavor, the fundamentals are that for a reason. So let's go through the core thesis. What is sound money? And money should be a reliable store of value, not a political tool. Stability in currency is foundational to economic freedom and fairness. And sound money restrains government from excessive spending and debt creation. That one can be debated because we have been on a gold standard, we've been on a silver standard, we've been on a bimetallic standard, and in those cases, governments have gotten out of control. So I'm not going to go into that debate right now. I want to stick to the fundamentals. But let's go through the historical context. For most of history, money was tied to precious metals. The shift away from convertibility stopped in the recent era with the Bretton Woods Agreement that was usurped by the Nixon administration. And the problem with fiat currency, as almost all of us already know, is that it allows the money to expand exponentially eventually, and diluting the money supply really hurts everyone in the long run, meaning persistent inflation, asset bubbles, misallocation of capital, and wealth inequality. So the role of the Federal Reserve and central banking is purportedly to protect purchasing power over time, which obviously in a fiat system that does not happen. In fact, the opposite is guaranteed. So that's something that, people are learning, many have known, some are just waking up to it. Nonetheless, that's one of the core principles that people say, wow, these nasty corporations are increasing the cost of my food. Now, granted, some may be increasing the cost of food above and beyond a reasonable profit. There is that greed factor. But overall, no, their input costs are more. Diesel costs more. Fertilizer costs more. Farmers are charging more, whatever. So it's an insidious thing that compounds over time and basically can and usually does destroy the economic viability of a nation state or communities or what have you. So gold and silver by extension are monetary anchors. They serve as a constraint on government spending and monetary displacement. Global implications are sound money could strengthen international trade relationships and reduce currency wars and competitive devaluations. Competitive devaluations are where a nation says, look, I'm going to lower the value of my Canadian dollar so I get an export advantage. And because it's cheap, I can export more, and therefore I can gain an advantage in a trade balance. And that happens all the time and has throughout history. Main criticism of the current system, modern system prioritizes short stimulus over long-term stability. Debt expansion over true productive growth. So what I like to emphasize is that I want to tie Judy Shelton's work into the case for physical gold and silver ownership. That's something you can do on your own. It puts you more or less in a sovereign position. In other words, it's an asset that's known as money, at least gold-wise, that is not a liability of anybody else. In other words, zero counterparty risk. The failure cycle of fiat currencies historically, they've all failed. Well, this one, I don't think it will fail in the true sense of it's zero or worthless. But as far as stimulating a new system, which we're already seeing play out in China and moving westward with all the CBDCs and likenesses of that idea of a central bank digital currency, a private-public partnership along those lines. So investors need to think beyond paper assets and into real money. That's it, Judy. It was an excellent brief on the case for sound money. I wish you the best always and everywhere. I miss everyone. A very, very nice summer that we are coming into. And there's more to life than money, but nonetheless, honest money for honest people works better than anything else. At least that's been proven through history. It's David Morgan with the Weekly Perspective signing out for this week.
The U.S. government debt is about to cross $37 trillion. That's not a typo. That's trillion with a T. Tariffs are being used to try and even the playing fields. Global supply chains are shifting. Inflation isn't going away. And the value of your dollar? It's quietly being drained while no one is really talking about this. The truth is, we're living through the early stages of a financial reset, whether anyone wants to admit it or not. And if you're still relying on mainstream headlines or financial advisors who just tell you to write it out, you could be blindsided when things really shift. That's where the Morgan Report comes in. For over 25 years, David Morgan has been helping investors cut through the noise. He tracks what actually drives markets, from precious metals and mining stocks to global debt and monetary policy, and show you how to protect and grow your wealth when the system is under stress. This isn't just about gold and silver. It's about having a clear-eyed view of where things are headed and making sure you're not caught off guard. The Morgan Report gives you real research, honest analysis, and strategies you can act on, even in a world of rising debt, unstable currencies, and economic uncertainty. Go to themorganreport.com today, download your free report, get informed, get ahead, and take back control of your financial future. Themorganreport.com, because $37 trillion in debt won't fix itself.